Good evening, Sports Insanity Network fans. It's Marco Sky Halpern here with Corpus Crispy Bill Murphy for Thursday Night Gridiron. Sorry for that. Both Bill and I's computers slowed up, and then we realized we were both live 5 seconds late. So, without further ado, we're going to kick it over to this man's show. Bill, it's all yours.
How we doing tonight, folks? We got welcome to Thursday Night Gridiron Week 4. We got the Arizona Cardinals versus Seattle Seahawks in an NFC West battle. But before we get to that, we got some NFL news for the week. And that news is that it has been announced this week that Russell Wilson of the New York Giants will be benched and the rookie Jackson Dart will start. Mark, I know you're a Cowboys fan and have to roll your eyes at this, but what are your thoughts from a semi-objective viewpoint?
As a sports analyst, I'm not sure about this move. I kind of get it, but I'm not sure about it. Russell Wilson is not what he used to be, but he's a lot better than what you could throw out there. I mean, not to say that the Dallas Cowboys are any really great defense, but he did throw for 454 yards and still shows he has an arm. I don't know if it's his play necessarily or it's the Giants' offensive line that's made it tougher on him, and he's not as mobile as he used to be. You give the guy 4 seconds, he can still beat you, but with the line being beat and the Giants now sitting, no, sorry, Bill, to say it, as the only team in the NFC East without a win at 0-3. Even the Cowboys have a win, Bill, and it was against you. Um,
Yeah, I know. I was there. Remember, you got the pleasure to watch me have a heart attack that
yes,
game.
is this the right move for the Giants? I don't think so. I think they're throwing Jackson Dart to the Wolves, kind of. You're throwing him into a Chargers defense that's been pretty good. Um, and there's no doubt in my mind the Giants are going to be playing from behind. They're not going to be ahead in this game. And given the way that the Chargers offense looks, that's pretty much foretelling what the story is going to be. So Jackson Dart is literally getting trial by fire here, more or less being trial by seven walls of it. I wish him the best luck, but it's not the right move here. If this was one of the last three games of the season, then I would say fine.
So you don't, so me, I'm sort of split. On one hand, I'm thinking, okay, you drafted this guy, you traded up for him in the first round. I was thinking this guy was going to be starting sooner rather than later. But because at this point, I have said this millions of times. I said it here. I said it on SIP. Mark, the Giants drafting Jackson Dart was the reason why Gable's job is not 100% on the line right now. Because, they're thinking, okay, let's give Dable a chance to develop his own quarterback instead of throwing out the Dave Gettleman leftovers that we had with Daniel Jones, who is ironically now doing really good. And here's something funny. In our fantasy league, for a backup, because my initial quarterback was Joe Burrow, and we all know how that went. For Caleb Williams, my first backup, but now my second backup, I picked up Russell Wilson, saw how he played this week. I literally dropped Russell Wilson and got Daniel Jones.
Hey, uh, the fact that he was still available makes me laugh. I didn't need him because I had two good quarterbacks. So
Yeah, so in my now two quarterbacks are Caleb Williams and Daniel Jones. So so yeah, I was but yeah, I just want to say, and I saw this meme, and I think it describes it perfectly. Saquon Barkley is 3-0 in Philly. Daniel Jones is 3-0 in Indianapolis, and the Giants are now 0-3.
it's just the way unfortunate things are, but it is a funny stat.
Will this be enough to if Dart, and I've been asking this a lot, if Dart does start, is this going to be enough to save Brian Dable's job?
Here's the thing. I thought it was very creative of the Giants to do what they did. And for the reasons like you said it, Bill, is so Dable can develop his own quarterback. And I think that was a right statement because I think that's what it is. Dable's job is still pretty much on the hot seat. However, for that reason alone, being Jackson Dart, if Dart comes out and goes 0 and 2, let's even dare to say does not fare better than Russell Wilson goes 0 and 3. It isn't going to matter if he's trying to develop anything because it's proven he can't win, even with his own quarterback. So if Dart comes in and loses those 3 games, Dable will be gone by week 7.
Week 7.
Yep.
Because hot take from my dad, he would thought Dable would be gone by week 4.
I mean, anything is possible. I mean, I haven't seen a coach fired earlier than week 6, but anything can happen, especially with the Giants.
Yeah, with this disaster, who knows? So Dart gets a start this weekend, and I'm ready for it. Like if Dart does win, and I will admit I have doubts because the Chargers have been really good lately.
Yep. The Chargers offense is a good offense. It was a
Yes, it
shame to
is.
see what happened with Najee Harris last week. We'll see if he'll be able to return next year, maybe even by the end of the season, but I doubt it.
So yeah, so that's what's going on in East Rutherford right now. Jackson Dart getting the ball on Sunday. Let's see what happens. Now, let's go to tonight's matchup, shall we? We got now we got the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. These two teams met twice last year in week 12 and the Seahawks won 16-6 and they won in week 14 30-18. Now, first let's look at the Seattle Seahawks. Them coming off a win last week against the pitiful New Orleans Saints 44-16. Sam Darnold went 14 for 18, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker went for 16 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Jackson Smith Najiba went for 5 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown, and Torrey Horton went for 3 receptions and 1 touchdown. So, Mark, first with the Seahawks, let Sam Darnold. He's getting off to a great start right now. What do you think?
Darnold is having the start of this season, which reflects like he did for, I believe it was Carolina when they went 3-0 to start off. Sam Darnold, we know, is a capable quarterback of winning ball games if given the right tools. Mind you, when Metcalf left and little bits and pieces left this Seattle team, everybody thought Darnold was not going to be able to keep it. They've gotten off to a nice 2-1 start. Njigba, Horton have had great starts to the season. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet will be playing tonight, are really pairing up to be a nice running back duo. Are they tops in the league? No, but the two of them, if they can churn out 40, 50 yards apiece and put 90 yards up and a score between the two of them each game, then that's successful. I think Sam Darnold is in the right position to win. The question is, how long is he going to last like this? Because eventually, you know, as quarterbacks get older, it's no offense to Sam, the seasons are longer. Is he going to be able to keep up this level of play?
That's a very good question. Is he going to be able to keep up this level of play? Because, even, but I think he's found his footing in Seattle. Like, again, it's early in the season, a lot can happen. But right now, I think he's finding his footing. He's got Kenneth Walker with the run game. He's got Jackson Smith Najiba, and he's got Torrey Horton in the receiving game. So I think he's got a good setup right now in Seattle, as I would say, just to bust Dan's chops. Jets legend Sam Darnold.
Mhm.
Jets legend Sam Darnold is, faring well in Seattle. But also, we got to talk about Seattle's defense, though. Seattle's defense has been a real standout aspect of this team. Their run defense has not allowed a rushing touchdown so far this season.
And that's going to change tonight because they're going to see a running back they have not seen yet, and that being Trey Benson with the unfortunate injury to James Conner last week. Hope he gets better soon. Um, Trey Benson's going to give the Seattle defense a little bit of something they haven't seen yet, and that's the combination of a power rusher with the ability to move. And Seattle's defense is good. I'm not going to take it away from them. Are they the Legion of Boom once again? Almost. Let's get a few more weeks into the season, to see. This will be a nice test for Seattle tonight. I like Arizona here, but the Seattle defense has been playing very well. If they can come out and shut down the run game like they have been, then it's a whole different story. But I think it's going to be tough.
I think it's going to be, I think the defense is going to be really tough tonight with Seattle. Like I said, they have not allowed a single rushing touchdown so far. They've allowed 90 rushing yards per game, which ranks ninth, and they're the only. And right now, with I said rushing touchdown, they're the only team that has not allowed one. So Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, like they're gonna have a really tough. They're gonna have a really tough challenge tonight, and they're also, when it comes to quarterbacks, the defensive line, Leonard Williams, 12 run stiffs and 11 sacks, and they've been effective in pressuring quarterbacks, finishing third in the league with a 37.9 pressure rate and eighth with 45 sacks. So this team, let's just say they're going to have a bit of a challenge tonight with Trey Benson and Kyler Murray. We'll get more to that in a bit. But no, that Seattle defense, man, is scary.
Yeah, it's definitely a style of defense we've seen out of Seattle over the years. However, again, it's already a young part of the season. Before they can declare themselves going undefeated, let's get through the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Let's get through the next few weeks. And are they Legion of Boom level yet? Like you said, let's see what happens. Okay. Flipping to the Arizona Cardinals. Them coming off a last second loss last week against the San Francisco 49ers. They won as they lost 16-15. Kyler Murray went 22 for 35, 159 yards, one touchdown. Trey McBride went five receptions, 43 yards, one touchdown. Yeah, they lost a squeaker there last week. Let's admit that. They lost a squeaker.
Yeah, I mean it was actually an enjoyable football game. Yeah, I like that Kyler's playing a little bit of mistake-free football lately. It shows that he's a little bit matured from last year. He's got a nice combination of players. I'm not saying they're going to win every week, but they played very well against a tough 49er team between having to play up against the defense and Brock Purdy or no Brock Purdy. It's still a very good offense. So Arizona just lost. They should be 3-0.
They should be, but you know what they say. Keyword should.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so James Conner is out for tonight, or he's out for the year, excuse me.
Correct.
So, what? So, is this going to have an impact tonight on? Is this going to have an impact?
James Conner and Trey Benson are two different style running backs. James Conner is a little bit more your good old fashioned down heavy, barrel through Derrick Henry style. That's what James Conner brought. Unfortunately, the injury last week, but and out for the season, gave Trey Benson a chance to show what he can do. And he had a very productive couple of games showing what he can do. And now he's being given the ball tonight. Basically, he will be the starter tonight. So we're looking for him to have anywhere from about 15 to 20 attempts on the ground. And I would say at least 3 to 5 receptions tonight. So I think,
Okay.
yeah, the impact of the fact is it's giving Trey Benson his true shot to take over the Cardinals' running game. For Connor, I do not know if his career is over, but we'll see.
Yeah. Could this be the end of James Conner's career?
It very well could be
And that would be a
because
shame.
they're not. We don't know what he's going to look like after this. Whether he's going to be able to come back and play, he could end up becoming a fullback in the NFL and be good for blocking. We'll see. It all depends on how he heals and how fast.
That is 100% true. I really hope I really hope he can come back, but this could be the end. But who knows? All right. Is this year for Kyler Murray? Is this a make it or break it year?
No, no. Tyler's showing that he's matured, as I said earlier. They are definitely progressing in the right direction. I think you're going to see Arizona up there at the end of the season right now. I mean, again, season's early, but I think Kyler's going to be there and he'll be fine. This is, if he has a bad season, he's not going to lose the Arizona starting job.
Now, I think so far, because last year Kyler's numbers were 17 games played, 372 completions, 541 attempts, with a 68.8 completion rate, 3,851 yards, with 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. While this year so far, 3 games played, 60 completions, 89 attempts, 67.4 completion attempts, completion percentage, and 542 yards with 4 touchdowns. Like, I don't think this is a make it or break it year for Kyler Murray, but you know who I think this could be a make it or break it year for? Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And like, listen, the first season I was willing to give him a pass because Kyler Murray was injured, but you gotta look at it this way. You gotta look at it this way. Um, okay, hold on, I'm just pulling something up here. Okay, you gotta look at it this way. The okay, in his now in the 2 seasons he's been there, Jonathan Gannon has not had a winning season.
This is true.
First season he went 4-13, and to be fair, again, Murray was injured, so that was a big part of it. Last year they went 8-9. This year they're starting off 500, over 500 so far. So if they get another not winning season, I think Gannon might be done.
Well, it's always a possibility because everything starts and ends with the head coach, head coach and the general manager. But each season he's improved so far. He was four and excuse me, in
13.
his first. Yep, in his first, and 8 and 9 last year. That's a four. That's almost 100% improvement. It basically is. And now, as you pointed out, they're starting off hot this year. If all of a sudden they plummet and they only win 2 more games the rest of the year, yeah, his job's going to be done. If yet again they improve and he has his first winning season, I think he'll be safe for a while.
You know that's a good way to put it. If they go 9-8 and happen to miss the playoffs, you know what? Then at that point, I think Gannon will be safe. I think Gannon will be safe if they go 9-8. But I just hope he doesn't turn into like a Mike Tomlin or a Zach Taylor, just getting mediocre, winning seasons and then sucking in the playoffs, or in Zach Taylor's case, not even making the playoffs. But yeah, I don't think this is a make it or break it for Kyler Murray. I do think it's a make it or break it though for Gannon.
Okay.
So anyway, Mark, what are your X factors for tonight?
The run game for Arizona is very big. You got to get Trey Benson off and get him going early, whether you do it via the pass or you let him just run straight. Once you get the running game established, you can look for Harrison over the top. You know, there's also, I would say, personally, I think Najigba has a big night tonight for Seattle, along with a man who's been very quiet since he was traded, and that's Cooper Kupp. Could actually show up tonight and have a 7-8 reception night.
Okay, I think who do you think is the X factor for Seattle?
Well, the X factor for Seattle is Ninjigba. He's going to
Sorry, I
have to get open. Nope, not a problem. He's going to have to get open. He's going to have to get open frequently.
I think tonight the X factor for Seattle is gonna be their defense. They gotta have to contain Kyler Murray. They're gonna have to contain Trey Benson. Now that they're down one running back with whatchamacallit, with Connor out, I think they're gonna have to take advantage of this. They're gonna have to absolutely take advantage of this right now.
Okay.
So my that's my X factor for Seattle. My X factor for Arizona is actually going to be the pass game, because with with a with a less run game, with Connor out and dependent mainly on Benson and Murray, because he is a very mobile quarterback. I think they're gonna try to have to hit Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. He's gonna have to try to hit them, because this Seattle run defense is scary.
Yes.
So I think for Arizona tonight, Murray, we gotta see more passing Murray than rushing Murray, because that defense is gonna eat him alive. Um, yeah, so those are my X factors for tonight. All right, Mark, it's time for rapid fire.
I love
So
rapid.
we have an interesting one. We put 2 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Mark, make a Mount Rushmore for both teams.
Well, I'll start with Seattle. You know, to me, Seattle, you have to include Russell Wilson up there. You're going to have Steve Largent, probably one of the greatest receivers in Seattle history. You're going to have to include Cortez Kennedy, one of the best defensive linemen I remember watching play. And this one was a personal favorite, Sean Alexander. I happen to like watching him play. His run style was kind of like watching Earl Campbell run for the Oilers. What do you think, Bill? What's your Mount Rushmore for Seattle?
Well, for Seattle, I'm going with like what you said, Steve Largent, because he was actually one of the first big ones out of that franchise. Oh, and he was also a congressman too. That's interesting. Um,
Yes, he was.
Sean Alexander, like you said, and also congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Alexander. They announced they're expecting their 14th child.
14. They're ahead of Philip Rivers right now.
Yep. Marshawn Lynch, great running back. Again, you got to include Russell Wilson. Bobby Wagner on defense, and of course, you got to put Pete Carroll on there.
I don't disagree with that.
Got to put Pete Carroll on there. All right, who's your Arizona Mount Rushmore?
So, number one, Pat Tillman. Okay. Anybody who wants to disagree with me, fine. Go ahead. No, Pat Tillman. Kurt Warner, the guy who brought the Super Bowl winning style. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest receivers I've had the pleasure to see play a few times live. And I was stuck between two, and I'm going to actually go with the first one. I'm going to go with Aeneas Williams. Great, great secondary player. Played safety and cornerback. Was versatile. Could not only hit but pick off a pass and go all the way.
Yes, absolutely. My Mount Rushmore is very similar to yours. And because the thing is, with teams like this, Seattle didn't win their first Super Bowl until what, 2013, 2014. Arizona has yet to win a Super Bowl, so you don't really hear like these names from these teams flash around like you do other teams, you know? Um, Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best wide receivers ever. Kurt Warner, who, yeah, Kurt Warner did win a Super Bowl with the Rams, but he brought their only Super Bowl, even though the Arizona Cardinals lost, he brought them to their only Super Bowl in franchise history, so you got to put him on there. And I do agree with you, Mark. Pat Tillman,
Mm-hmm.
not just for his playing, but for his bravery, how he basically quit football to go serve his country and was tragically killed. So you got to put Pat Tillman on there. Dan Deerhoff, who was one of
Yes.
the
Great
best
announcer.
best OT offensive tackles of the Arizona franchise. Um, Anissa Williams and Larry Wilson.
Uh,
Okay, Mark, one more thing to do. What's your prediction for tonight?
I got Arizona winning this one out and winning out big 38-15.
Really?
Yes.
I think this game's going to be much closer. I'm picking Seattle with, I know it's a bold pick. I'm picking Seattle 27-21. All right, that is it for us tonight, folks. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the game. If you want to see more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, check out our history, check out our podcast available on all platforms. Check out us here on the YouTube channel where you get this show, Sunday Sideline Report, Batter Up, which I don't know when that's going to be now. That's going to be more during the week now, Mark, right?
Yes. Yes. Mike and I will be back with that very shortly.
And don't forget this week's edition of Summer's Picks. Curious to see what she's going
Yes.
to pick for
Summer
this week.
picks will be tomorrow. We'll be recording tomorrow night, and the good old Pac-Man will be dropping it before Sunday's sideline report.
And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. And as always, big thanks to the Dugout of Millward for sponsoring this. So for Mark Goldop, Sky Halpern, I'm Bill Murphy. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Take